In the ancient and magnificent city of Peking, jewel of the Chinese Empire, there lived a boy named Aladdin. Though the nobles called him nothing more than that street rat, his father had been a humble tailor, the best in the city, who made robes so fine that even the emperor himself had worn them. But when death took the old tailor, it took everything. Aladdin was left with nothing but his mother's washing tub and a basket of cheap trinkets to sell in the streets. He slept on cold stone steps, his belly often empty, his clothes in tatters, yet beneath the dirt and rags, his eyes burned with a fire that poverty could not extinguish, eyes that dreamed of something more. Then came the day that would change everything. A stranger appeared in the marketplace, unlike anyone Aladdin had ever seen. He was an Arab, a magician from lands beyond the western deserts, with eyes that glittered like black opals and a beard white as snow that reached past his waist. "Boy," he said, his voice like wind through dead leaves, "I am your father's brother, your uncle who has searched for you across the 7 seas." Aladdin, desperate for family, desperate for love, believed every word. The stranger smiled, that smile that held 1,000 secrets and 1,000 lies, and led the boy to the edge of the city, to a cave hidden in the mountains, marked with symbols that seemed to writhe and move in the moonlight. "Enter this cave," the stranger commanded, "and you will find treasure beyond the wildest dreams of emperors. But beware, enter only alone, and bring me the old lamp you find within." Aladdin stepped through the entrance and gasped. The cave stretched for miles. Every surface glittered with gems. Mountains of gold dinars towered toward the ceiling. Jeweled crowns and ancient weapons lay scattered like refuse. Silk fabrics in colors that had no names covered the floors. And there, in the very center, glowing with an otherworldly blue light, sat an old oil lamp, covered in dust and grime. Aladdin filled his pockets with diamonds, stuffed his robes with gold, grabbed the lamp, and discovered the truth. The entrance had sealed behind him. The uncle had betrayed him. He was trapped in darkness, waiting to die. Desperate and trapped, Aladdin rubbed the old lamp he carried, the only thing of value he had left. The world exploded. Smoke poured from the lamp in columns black as midnight, coiling and twisting until it formed a creature beyond nightmare, a genie, a spirit of such immense power that his mere presence made the earth shake and the cave's walls crack. His head brushed the cavern ceiling. His eyes blazed with flames of blue fire. "I am the slave of the lamp," his voice boomed like thunder. "What is your command, Master?" Aladdin's heart nearly stopped. Then hope, wild, desperate hope, flooded through him. "I wish to be free of this cave," he cried. Instantly, he stood outside the cave entrance. "I wish for riches." Mountains of gold and jewels appeared around him. "I wish for beautiful clothes." Silk robes appeared, embroidered with gold thread and precious gems. The poor street boy had become the wealthiest man in China. Wealth was not enough for Aladdin, not anymore. He had seen the princess, daughter of the emperor himself, at the palace gates, and his heart was lost. She was beautiful as a lotus flower on a still pond, with eyes like dark moons and a smile that could make emperors kneel. Aladdin sent gifts to the palace, diamonds the size of duck eggs, silks so fine they seemed to float on air, perfumes that made the whole court drunk with their scent. The emperor, amazed by this mysterious prince who had appeared from nowhere, agreed to give his daughter in marriage. The wedding lasted 40 days and 40 nights. The feasts fed the entire city of Peking. Musicians came from as far as Persia to play, and Aladdin, the poor tailor's son, took the princess as his bride. But far away, in the African desert, a dark heart burned with jealousy. The uncle who had betrayed Aladdin was no uncle at all. He was a sorcerer, a master of black magic, one of the most powerful evil men to ever walk the earth. He had known of the lamp, had searched for the cave for centuries, but only those of blood could enter. When he learned that a street boy had claimed his treasure, his rage knew no bounds. "That lamp is mine," he screamed, his voice shattering windows in distant villages. "I will have it back, even if I must burn the emperor's palace to the ground and salt the earth where it stood." The sorcerer disguised himself as a common merchant and entered the palace. "New lamps for old, new lamps for old," he cried through the halls. The princess, not knowing the magic within her husband's lamp, the lamp that granted all their wealth, brought it down and traded it for a new one. The moment the sorcerer's fingers touched the metal, his evil grin spread across his face like a disease. At last he shrieked. "The lamp is mine," he commanded the genie to take everything, palace, treasure, princess, everything, and transport it to the farthest corner of Africa. In an instant, it was done. The palace vanished. Aladdin returned to find only empty ground where his home had stood. The princess was gone. His power was gone. Everything gone. Aladdin wept, then raged, then acted. Using a magic ring the good genie had given him in better times, he transported himself across the world to Africa. He found the palace, his palace, sitting in the desert, and the sorcerer within, drunk on power, ordering the genie to do his evil bidding. Aladdin crept through the palace, found his wife, whispered a plan. When the sorcerer came to the princess's chambers, she pretended to submit, and while he smiled at her false kindness, Aladdin plunged a dagger into his black heart. The sorcerer died with a gasp, his evil spirit departing with a scream that shook the desert sands. Aladdin reclaimed the lamp, commanded the genie to transport the palace back to Peking, and held his princess once more. And so it was. Aladdin and the princess lived in happiness, ruling together as equals. They had children, princes and princesses, who grew up knowing both poverty's pain and wealth's comfort. And Aladdin, who had once wished only for gold, now wished for something greater, for wisdom, for kindness, for a just heart. He built hospitals for the sick and schools for the poor. He fed the hungry and sheltered the homeless. The magic lamp, which could grant any wish, was used only for the good of the people. The poor street rat of Peking had become the wisest emperor China had ever known. This is why we remember Aladdin, not for the magic that made him rich, but for the heart that made him good.